MTV really fell off to be coming out all this way for me. Just kidding, come on in. Today we're gonna be looking at my Warzone gaming setup.
But we emailed you about the Lego collection.
The Warzone gaming setup. So here I've got my monster PC case, and I basically keep this thing on the ground because I have nowhere else to put it. It's on this like rolling thing from Amazon that was like 20 bucks, but it gets the job done. Inside of this thing, I've got like 30 fans, and all of them I've set to light up in a red color so that it all matches. But as you saw, the glass was facing the wall, so I don't really get to enjoy that anymore. But we've also got a 3090 inside with 24 gigs of RAM. We've got the i9 processor, as well as 32 gigs of RAM on the computer. So pretty good machine that served me very well for Warzone. I'd love to upgrade to a 4090 at some point, but I did spend a lot of money on the 3090, so probably a good idea to try to hold on to it for another year or two. Not too long ago, I had a bunch of USB things like hooked into the top of this thing, but I realized I had enough USB ports on the back side to go ahead and facilitate everything that I needed out of the back of the computer to kind of clean up the top side of it. Call of Duty is the only game I play, and so a lot of what I have is basically tailored for that and streaming that, and as we go through I'll kind of explain what I use and why. But we have the Astro A40s. This is probably my third pair in the last decade. They last pretty long. They can definitely have one ear basically go out, but generally I like them. Not my favorite color scheme I've had, but I think the Astro A40s are a pretty good headset. There's probably better ones out there, but I like them with the mix amp specifically, that I'm able to kind of adjust the audio for me to be able to better hear in game kind of footsteps and different noises that I'm going to need to be able to pick up on. Next, we've got the controller, which I think is the Elite PS5 Scuff, which basically just means it has the mouse click triggers and wired faster response time or whatever it is. But I really like this controller. I kind of bought it a year ago, didn't use it for like 10 months, and then a couple months ago kind of discovered that it was actually the best controller for me. And so having those paddles on the bottom is just invaluable. You have to have that if you want to play at a high level, unless you're going to play claw, but like I don't want to play claw, so I don't do that. We'll show off my other controllers later in the video. I have a graveyard of old controllers, but that PS5 Scuff has been serving me well lately. I've got a cheap HyperX mouse and an Alienware keyboard. They both light up red to match my computer, of course, and I'll have everything linked below if you want to know what any of it is specifically. But the keyboard and mouse, I was not too fussed over. I just kind of bought the ones that either looked cool or were cheap. In the case of the HyperX mouse, I'm pretty sure it was like 30 bucks. Basically because I'm not a keyboard and mouse gamer, I just don't care about the performance of those things for me personally. When it comes to the microphones here, I actually have a dual mic setup. One of the microphones is for my game chat, talking to my friends, and the other microphone is for my stream chat, talking to my other friends. Then of course, I think anyone that streams knows having more than one monitor is super, super useful. And so I ended up getting two similar monitors. I wanted to get the same monitor, but they did not still sell this one when I was trying to find it maybe like 6 months ago. So I bought one that was slightly better. I think this one's 165 hertz at 1440p, and this one is 144 hertz at 1440p. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what they are both capable of. 1440p I have found to be very important to my gaming experience. It just makes everything that much sharper, and of course having a higher refresh rate is really big these days. Most of the modern consoles can even handle 120 hertz or better sometimes, I think. Anyway, down here we have the Elgato Stream Deck. This is another very valuable tool for anyone that live streams games, you know, any game, not just Warzone. You don't really need this if you're just playing really, but for my live stream, I basically set it up so that when I start up my computer, I can press this button, this button, this button, and this button, and basically have everything open that I need to have open. So my game, my controller, my Twitch panels over here, and then Streamlabs, and basically everything's ready to go. As soon as I start up the Call of Duty game, we are just basically ready to stream, which is amazing. I also have a button that controls the lights that you see back here. It's a Philips Hue light that we have back there, so it can be all sorts of different colors. I also have the Elgato Key Light Air up here, which I just have to flip the switch on to turn on and off. So I've really simplified my setup to allow myself to just start streaming, you know, as soon as possible when I want to get on, and just make the most of my time when I go to stream. You know, I think that's important. Come on, let me accept. Yes, whatever you want to do to me, I accept it. So you can probably see me here on the Streamlabs image, and I'm using the Canon M50, which I used to use for a lot of my Lego YouTube videos, but now of course it's being used for my streaming webcam. I've got it hooked up to a dummy battery, so it never runs out of battery, and then it's got a USB that runs all the way over to the PC to be able to feed the information of the video footage to it. But overall, I think it looks pretty good, and it's been a decent camera for this sort of thing, although it's not perfect. I've had a hard time finding like a really good, perfect webcam. This next section of the desk, I've basically basically left empty. I'll bring my laptop up here and do some work sometimes, and I've got a calendar, but I don't really make use of that. So this is kind of a big empty area, just a clean area where I could maybe put food or drinks when I'm, you know, trying to snack while gaming, but like nothing special. Now I've got plenty of storage on my desk, and the first one here is the main drawer. I keep my income tax return as well as my business files here, very important. Don't really need them for gaming, but they're there. On the top side here, I keep a bunch of Lego sets. They, again, don't really add a lot for my gaming experience, but, you know, something. I've got some candles with another big empty area. If you have suggestions for what I could put in this area, please, I'll take them. I'd like to put something cool here, because I do have lots of cool stuff up here with some of my Lego collection and my 3 Funko Pops, but, you know, I want a gaming thing here, so I'll take some suggestions in the comments if you have any. The final 2 sections over here, you guessed it, have more Lego sets, and then we have the controller graveyard just above that with quite a few controllers. 2 of my favorites were the Scuff Vantage. I've got 2 of the Scuff Vantage 2s, but you can see I've kind of taped this one up, and these will tend to break over time. They're also kind of hard to click in with your fingers sometimes, so I ended up stopping using these controllers because I knew they would not last long term because I've had bad experiences with them. The sticks also get mad stick drift, so these ones were problems. Then I bought the PS5 Pro controller. This one was like $200. It's the Edge, and it was okay, but but it only had 2 paddles on the bottom, and I just felt like I needed more than 2 paddles to be able to play at a high level on Call of Duty. So ultimately this controller didn't end up being the forever controller for me, but it's either basically going to be that PS5 Scuff I showed off earlier, or this new one, the Scuff Envision Pro, which is made especially for PC. Basically, I just need to learn how to overclock this and I should be good, but it brings back those side buttons that the Scuff Vantage had that I loved so much, and the paddles on the bottom are easier to push in than ever because they're basically mouse clicks. It's really awesome to be able to feel something like that on a controller. This is probably the most high-end, best controller Scuff has ever made, and I honestly can't wait to start using it once I figure out, again, how to overclock it. So the controller graveyard sits here. I also keep like tons of little controller accessories on hand, mostly because I accidentally over-ordered these, but you know, I keep them here just in case. My eventual plan is to sell the 3 oldest controllers here. I don't plan to use them at all, and whether I decide between the Scuff Envision Pro or the PS5 Scuff, I'm basically going to buy another one of those as a backup and then sell the other one that I decide I don't want to use long term. Basically, I'm still trying to find that forever controller and put a ring on it. Last thing, the gaming chair. A lot of people buy gaming chairs, and I used to be part of that group of people. I think gaming chairs are a scam. They're overpriced. I think that they don't provide a good level of comfort. I think they break easily. I've had 2 of them, and the same thing happened on both of them. They just break, and they don't feel comfortable after a while. They really wear down. I went to Office Depot and sat in every chair in Office Depot in Palm Bay, Florida. If you want to sit in some chairs that I've sat in, there you go. I basically wanted to know what's the best chair I can buy. What's the most comfortable chair? Which chair am I going to feel good sitting down to game in? And I'll tell you, this Office Depot chair, I'm going to try to figure out which one it is because I honestly don't remember. But this chair from Office Depot, it was like $400, which is basically as much as you'll pay for like a high-end or mid-tier gaming chair. Like you can buy the cheap ones from like Target for $200 or less, but like it's a cheap one. It's going to be bad and it's going to break. I would highly recommend, you know, using buy it nice or buy it twice on your chair for your gaming setup if possible, because I think that this investment in this chair will last me a decade, you know, versus the 2 or 3 years that I get out of a gaming chair and then have to buy another one because it's a piece of crap. So very, very happy with this. It's still just as comfortable as the day I bought it. But anyway, that is my entire Call of Duty Warzone gaming setup. I'm going to be streaming a lot of Modern Warfare 3 over on Twitch if you're interested. I'll have the link in the description below, as well as, of course, posting more content here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all the great places like that. So if you guys enjoyed, please hit the like button. If you have any suggestions for me to make my setup better, let me know in the comments section below. If you have any questions for me about my setup or need advice for your own, of course, leave a comment below and hopefully me or someone else can get back to you on that. And that is all for this one on MandR Games. And I gotta kick these MTV people out of my house.
Wait, so no Lego collection?
I don't like Legos. Those aren't even mine.